All right, all right. We finally made it. We finally made it. Let's give it up. Let's give it up on tonight. Thank you guys. As usual with all this tech and everything that's going on, a few hiccups here and there, but hey, it's a good thing on tonight. So we're grateful for you to be here on another night with Eva and Mike's Real Talk Inspirational Television. We have a treat on tonight. None other than a great friend of mine. I just coming to met. We were at a Black History event and a blood drive, and my goodness, what a tremendous individual doing some great work, and we're really going to get on tonight. So I want to give a chance, Eman, just before I get in. But let me just introduce to you and present to others none other than Mr. Peter Blain. He is man, I'm not even going to try to mess up your titles here, my brother. He is a MSN, RN, and an OCN. Wow, this is awesome here on today. So welcome aboard, my friend, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So listen, we're just gonna start off here. Yeah, there we go. I want to put them up there. Y'all see all them things, them God-given talents that's out there doing some things out there in the world. We're so happy for it here on tonight. So my brother, I met you. Actually, you and my wife Eva, you guys are heavily involved with a lot of medical and things that are helping our people and people of color. So we thank you on tonight for what you're doing. So just tell us a little bit about your career and who you are and what you are. And then before we get into the really mission and purpose why we're here tonight, just tell the people a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So my name is Peter Blain. I'm a nurse by trade. I've been a nurse now for 8, 9 years. I grew up in the inner city of Boston, right in Roxbury. Kind of bounced around a lot of places as most of us do growing up in that area. Made it out.
Yes.
Now I got a nice house, but I realized that a big part of what I do and what matters to me is making sure that I can make a way for those who were just like me and who are still dealing with the same issues that I was not too long ago.
Okay.
My background, again, I was a chemo nurse for a long time.
Wow.
And my focus was as I saw the issues that we were experiencing when I was working down in Maryland, in Baltimore City, because I moved down there to find myself, and I found myself a wife,
Oh,
which was
wow.
wonderful. Yep,
All
we
right.
both was in school. We both were in
Is she
school,
near
and
you? Where's she at? Tell her just a
oh,
wave.
she's upstairs with the dog. She's upstairs with
Okay,
the
all
dogs.
right.
They were
That's
acting
good. That's
crazy. I'm
good.
like, nah, I really like that.
Got to
But
give her a shout out. Got to give her a shout out.
yes, absolutely. No, without her, a lot of the things that where I would be, I wouldn't be here because she would constantly remind me of the why behind
There you
why
go.
I do what I do. Why does it matter? Because it's so easy to give up.
That's
You
good
can
stuff.
say, people aren't listening to me, give it up. And my wife, she's Caucasian, but she understands by being around my very black family
Come on.
that she's in it with us.
Oh yeah. So she
And she
knows it.
can't
She
she can't
knows
jump
us. She
out.
knows us.
So she's hearing it firsthand, and the best part of what I think the best part of, especially we're going to talk about later on, is strong allyship, is not just having someone there to say, okay, black issues are nice to hear, but someone that's willing to show up to these events, be active, and educate other
Yes, sir.
people that's not in the community on how to engage it appropriately with us.
Come on.
Because all too often someone will say, well, I have a black friend so I can talk to you this way. We don't know each other yet. That's not how we get down.
Right.
Or when you meet an elder, it's hello, Mr. or Miss. It don't
That's
matter
it.
what's going on. There's certain levels of respect that come with our culture, and that is how we can so that you can be well received, but it also allows for the dialogue to follow afterwards of, okay, I care about you. This isn't just you just lip service or giving just here to smile at me.
Yes, sir.
You're in the journey with me.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can actually make some progress. I got someone
Yes.
else yelling about this too, not just me. And they say, "Oh, he's just an angry black man." No, it's, "Oh wow, there's 6, 7, 8, 9 other people that just
That's
happen
right.
to be around him. That's saying that this is a problem." And
That's
this
right.
is how we can really start to bring these issues to the forefront. So it's in enough people's faces to start to see the change we need to see, not just what we want to see.
Okay, so you getting into medical, what was the driving force and passion for you to pursue the nursing field, and what was your goal and vision by doing that? Obviously, you just didn't want to fit in with the same old, same old. What was
Yeah.
the driving force, man?
So again, growing up in Roxbury, my mother was a CNA. She was a certified nursing assistant, but as we all know, that is very common. But it took me until my dad was on dialysis at
Wow,
age 12
wow.
until I saw my first black nurse.
Say that
That was
again. You were
active.
till age 12,
12.
and you
I had
never
my
see the
first
black
black
nurse.
teacher. I had my
Wow.
first black teacher in second grade, which was awesome. I still talk to all the time. Shout out Mrs. Davis. She's a
Okay.
principal in Boston. But I did not see my first black nurse until I was 12. I had a whole other career pathway in my mind. I just knew I had to get out the hood. That was
Mm.
it. But when I saw what the nurse was doing, probably in her mind, it was a quick, I'm helping your dad, I'm hooking him up. We're about to take some fluid off him because he's overloaded because of his kidney failure, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, that was the eye-opening epiphany of, oh, we can have these jobs. We can do this. And that started me on this career pathway of, at 12 years old, back when, minutes, you had to have minutes on your phone. I'm
Ah,
scrolling, trying to figure out how to become a nurse.
what you know about minutes, man? What you know about
Man,
minutes?
I'm 29. I'm 29. I was still there when you had to wait
Okay,
till
okay.
after 9 o'clock. After 9 o'clock, that's when the calls were free.
There you
So,
go. That's
uh,
right. Oh man.
but these were some of these eye-opening experiences. I took my minutes. I'm on the internet instead of being on AIM and AOL sending stupid
Yes, sir.
messages to
Dial
people.
up,
I'm
dial
looking
up.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out. Yeah, dial up. Yep. I'm
Yep.
over here trying to figure out. Well, how can I get to be a nurse? And that started a conversation with my eighth grade teacher. Then it started a conversation when I went to high school, and that changed my whole trajectory of everything because my
Wow.
focus was okay. I need to be really good at science and math. That's two things I got to make sure I hone in on and produce and deliver
Okay.
on. So throughout high school, I made sure that was my focus. When I took my ACTs, that is where I studied the most for. When I took my
Wow.
SATs, that's where I studied the most at. So then
Okay.
when I got to college, I already knew where I needed to go. But I think another driving factor for me was I knew I could not go back.
Okay.
I had to only move
Wow.
forward. So
Wow.
moving forward was a driving piece for me saying, I have to deliver for my family. I have to show them that their sacrifices was worth it. My dad came here undocumented back in the 70s. He got his
Mm.
citizenship in 99, but that was his sacrifice worth it? And that was a piece that has stuck with me still. Now I help them now a lot.
Wow.
Now they're older, but to know that he gave up his life of comfort to try to strive for the American dream,
Yes.
even though
Come
he
on,
didn't
man.
speak English, even though he didn't have a support system here, he found a way to get here.
Yes,
And
sir.
he said, this is less about me and more about my kids and my future kids on how I can put them in a better position to
Mm.
reach something I know I can't do. And now he lives, he's older, but whenever he needs something because he made the sacrifice, he gets what he wants.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll
How
make
was
it
his
happen.
healing process? How was his cancer journey?
He didn't have cancer. He had kidney failure.
Kidney failure. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
okay. So his kidney, it was rough. He was on
Yeah.
dialysis for 5 years, which is another topic of
So he's not on
typically if you
dialysis?
no more. No, 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 no. He had a kidney transplant. He got a kidney
Wow.
transplant 13 years ago.
Wow.
But yep, I was a senior in high school and he got a kidney transplant. But the thing is, which a lot of people, especially in our communities, need to start having some real conversations about, is what I just had at my church today earlier, which
Good.
was a
Good.
workshop on advanced care directives so that people know what to do with your body in the event God calls us home. A lot of us, unfortunately, a lot of the black community, Latinos, we are afraid, we are already afraid of the medical community, rightfully so.
Yep.
No one's saying we're going to say you're wrong, but there's so much now. There's a lot more transparency. You can sue. You have
Yeah.
rights. There's things written in.
That's right.
Know
That's
your
right.
rights so people can you can act accordingly. But we don't know how. We don't. A lot of us haven't understood the impacts and the need of organ donation.
Mm.
So he received a kidney transplant from a child that was in a car accident. And it was
What?
one day. Yeah, it was one random day. It was a rainy day. I was at school. I prayed really hard. I was like, please God, I need my dad to make it to my graduation.
Come on.
Because typically if you're on dialysis for longer than 3 years, your rate of survivorship is really low.
Mm.
It starts to drop off pretty fast.
Okay.
And he was on year 5. So he was very much so on borrowed time. And then we got the call. He used to joke around all the time. Oh, they got a kidney for me. Okay, sure. When he called me, he said, "No, they actually have a kidney for me. I need you to come to the hospital." I was like, I was
Praise
just in
God.
church. We was just praying
Praise
about
God.
this,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you know. And I'm like, "Stop joking." He was like, "No, I need you to come down here now because they're about to start surgery in 30 minutes." I was like, so I bolted all the way down to Brigham and Women's, got there, and he was getting a kidney.
Wow.
But it was
Look at that.
because the family was willing to, in the tragedy of losing a child,
Absolutely.
still
Absolutely.
be able to continue the legacy and give life. And it now has allowed my dad to live 13 years, so he was able not only to see me graduate high school, but see me graduate college, my undergrad, my master's, and 3 months away from seeing me walk across the stage and get my doctorate. This all
Wow.
would have been missed if someone did not make the conscious decision to say, it's okay, I want my child's legacy to live on through someone else.
Gotcha. And I just on the top before I got a couple other things too. We're having a good time. We're gonna take a break in a few minutes. But my wife Eva, she was adamant. She's here. She's off camera. We couldn't get her camera going. But you've been an organ donor for 5 or 6 years herself, and she is an advocate for that. But I love what you just said, that how important it is for us to do organ donors. How do you convey that message to the Black and brown community to even
So
consider
I'm
that?
Wonderful question. So I'm currently working with an organization, the New England Organ Donation organization here, and they have a lot of people of color on staff. The
Okay.
way that I'm working with them to try to figure out better ways to do it is one, showing up for our communities. You can't just say, "Give us your organs." You scaring us again.
Right.
You trying to kill me? No, but it's showing up, letting us know you're present, talking us through the process. Explain to us. Oh, we're not harvesting you. This is a donation.
That's
We're
right.
gonna make sure that you are kept in as good of shape as possible so that we can transplant those organs to someone else that
That's
needs
it.
it. Especially for the black community, I'm not one to be like, we are superior. There's some people that think that. I'm not here for that. We all equal.
Right. Right.
But on the genetic level, we are so genetically diverse due to several factors, especially the transatlantic slave trade,
I know
that they
that's
brought
right.
a lot of us who usually did not intermingle with each other,
Yep.
forced us together. So we now are actually at a major disadvantage because a lot of organs are not compatible for us.
Wow. What you
Yes, you
say?
need to. So to be a genetic match, you have to not only be a blood match, but you have to also be a tissue match too,
Okay.
in some way, shape, or form. But we are so, especially as like Black Americans,
Yes,
we are
sir.
so genetically diverse. It is sometimes when you get to the real like genetics of it, it's a little scary
Yes.
because you're like, that's why our odds are so low at getting organ transplants because you,
Wow.
you may get a kidney or heart from a white person, which praise God, you got additional 6 9 months to live. But if you got it from someone else that was black, your
Wow.
likelihood of survival will be longer
Really?
because your immune system recognizes it still will not see it as yourself and the immunosuppressants and everything else. It's just the genetic compatibility is closer.
Jeez.
So you will be a lot more well received. And there's other people that can get a lot more detailed of it, but it works better for us, which is
Wow.
the same reason why, like at the blood events, right? We
Yes.
need black people to donate blood,
Come on.
especially for the sickle cell population,
Yes,
because
sir.
they have a lot of antibodies, and because we are so
That's it.
genetically diverse, we are closer together than our white counterparts, Asians, and other ethnic groups. We have to step
Wow.
up so that we can make this easier, better, and make healthcare a little more efficient because it's in desperate need of that.
So you just hit something, and I want you to explain to the Black and brown community, um, genetic testing. As you know, and
Oh
some
yeah.
that don't know, I just came through a battle of prostate cancer, and I think after meeting with my team, that really helped me along the way. It's been a year ago, going on almost a year, right? Almost a year. I think the second meeting that I had was genetic testing. Tell us why is that important, or what is it? Just tell us genetic testing and why it is important.
Genetic testing is important on in almost every disease group, but especially cancer, because based on the genetic testing, they can determine if you have something called a targetable mutation. This means that there's medications that directly can attack your tumor.
Mm.
Instead of giving you this very systemic whole body chemotherapy, we can give you something that's very tailored to what you need specifically. For example, black people typically have, it's more likely to have HER2 positive, which is a genetic mutation that we have.
Okay.
It's a lot more common in us. Uh, there's specific medications like Enhertu, trastuzumab, and other HER2 inhibitors. That is going to make your cancer journey a world better because you're it's like a lock and a key in some instances. There's a lock, which is the tumor, and the key is the medication, and you're able to put the key in and unlock it so that that tumor knows I'm not effective, I'm not doing my job, I'm going to die.
Wow.
So, and that is one disease process called apoptosis.
Okay.
That is why genetic testing is important. A lot of us, we want to, which rightfully so, you should seek care in your community.
Mm-hmm.
However, community hospitals, especially ones that's dealing with cancer, don't necessarily have the access to all of the representatives that are doing all this wonderful genetic testing out there. Often you don't have to do anything. They send the piece of your tumor that they collected during surgery, for example, colorectal cancer, breast cancer, whatever it is. They'll send the piece of the tumor, the hospital will send it
Mm-hmm.
to the company. They analyze it, and depending on the company, they will give you suggestions on which medication is top line, like number one to give, number two to give, number three, number four. So you can clearly have a clear plan on what to
Wow.
do in these steps instead of we're going to give you standard of care. Okay, you get standard of care, but we live in a day and age where chemotherapy should be tailored to the patient
Come on now.
every time moving forward, especially us. Because
Yes.
if we have a higher rate of death and a higher rate of mortality and complications from it, why not give me the best shot first?
Yes.
Give me the best chance that I can beat this the first time around
Mm-hmm.
instead of 4, 5, 6 treatments before you say, oh, I think they gave you
Mm-hmm.
the wrong one because we never did the testing.
Yes.
So, at any time you're diagnosed with any form of cancer, I don't care what stage it is, the
Mm-hmm.
conversation you need to have with your provider is there, have you completed or do you plan to complete any genetic testing?
Mm.
There are dozens of companies that do this for free.
That's what I was going to ask you because most people are afraid that my insurance is not going to cover it. I'm on fixed income. So there's literally companies out there that will do the
There's
genetic testing.
companies that will do it for free.
Wow.
And it's not that they're doing a ripoff or they're doing some cheap version. They're giving you the same tests other people are paying for. They have,
Okay.
some of these companies have a lot of money. I'm not going to put a number. They have a lot of money
Yeah.
dedicated to compassionate care.
Mm-hmm.
This is compassionate. Why? Why is it compassionate? Because they identified and realized that health equity is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in communities that are low income, of color, likely we're not going to have the best insurance. Some of us do
Right.
because of resources, we've leveled up, whatever it is, fine. But the majority of us don't. And a lot of companies realize this. And they say, this is how we give back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are they going to sing this from the highest mountain? No, because they know people are going to take advantage of it.
Right.
But when you have the insight knowing that, okay, I can't afford this test, there's a pathway for you to get this test at extremely low cost, which, again, this is a proven method. I've done this before. This is
Wow.
not me just blowing smoke or saying, hey, I think this may work. I know multiple companies, Caris Life, Foundation One, Natera,
Look at that.
Exact Sciences. They all have compassionate fund buckets of money that they will gladly give, not give the money to you, but do the tests for free
Okay.
because you're low income. Because at the end of the day, this is your best shot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is your best shot at making sure that you beat this cancer, or at least you put it into remission so that you can figure out what needs to happen for the rest of your life, for what you have left.
That's right.
So genetic testing and asking your provider about this genetic testing is important because we need to know what is causing this tumor to grow.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't know what's driving it, like a driver mutation or passenger mutations. We're working with some data or some information that's probably from 20 years ago
Wow.
that is important to know as a baseline, but may not be relevant to you today. And
Wow.
that is why you need to always ask for genetic testing. The other name is next generation sequencing testing. You
Mm.
say NGS. Are we doing NGS testing on my tumor? Also, that makes the oncologist take a seat back and go, you may be poor. You may have bad insurance.
Come on.
You may not look the part, but clearly you just asked me a question that is making me rethink how I'm going to treat you. And that
Wow.
I'm going to not that I'm not going to treat you well, I'm going to treat you better than usual
Come on.
because you know information that can
This is
somewhat
good stuff. This is
make
good
me
stuff.
rethink my license.
Right.
They know that
Exactly.
we came here not to play. And this
That's
is
right.
health equity. This is how we raise that expectation. I know when we spoke, you said you're blessed to have these doctors. I'm amazed. I'm glad you were blessed to have these
Yeah, I had a
doctors.
good team, but it's
But
not
I
for
know
everybody. Everybody doesn't have
it's
it.
not.
Yeah, everybody
Everyone
doesn't have
doesn't
it.
have it. But the standard should be everyone should be blessed to have a good doctor that
That's
listens
right.
to them. That should be the standard. You know why? Because you paid into the system. I
Yes,
don't
sir.
care where you coming from. If you brought a piece of groceries outside, you pay taxes some way, somehow.
Yes, you
You've
did.
paid into the system. The whole purpose of healthcare is to be delivering care.
Mm.
MLK made a really good point about the worst disparity of it is in healthcare.
My God.
And there's a reason why. Because we show up every day, we walk through those hospital doors, those clinic doors,
Yes, you do.
whatever form of healthcare you're delivering, knowing that you're here to help someone.
That's right.
And if you consciously choose to treat someone different because of their insurance, because of their income, because of the way that they present,
Wow.
it's not just a shame on you. It's you're putting them at a disadvantage.
You're talking
You're not
right.
giving them the care that they have deserved. Not often am I one to use the word deserved. I usually say people earn things. But in healthcare, you deserve the expectation of high quality care.
That's it.
End of discussion. You pay
Wow.
way too much money for health insurance. You're paying way too much money in taxes. You're paying way too much money in life.
Yes.
You're paying
Yes.
too much in life. You spent your time to come here instead of being at work.
Come on now.
You're showing up to be treated well, to be healed, to have things addressed. This is the way we do it, especially in the cancer space, because all
Man.
too often it falls on we have single mothers that's dealing with this. You the only person making money in that house. Your
Huh.
kids are depending on you.
That's right.
You better have a doctor that sees you as a person, respects you, and understands that your lived experience is unique, and I need to tailor how I speak to you
Yes,
and the
sir.
treatment options for you to make sure that you have quality of life, and hopefully we can keep you alive to get you to make sure you can keep taking care of these kids.
My goodness. My goodness.
You're,
Uh,
we have our black dads coming in. You're the breadwinner if you are.
mm.
We got to make sure that you're able to keep this family afloat.
Yes, sir.
We're going to treat
Yes,
you as
sir.
best as we can, make sure that all the right resources and services are there. This is how we really can address this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is proven. When I was a nurse navigator, I made sure that these connection points stuck.
Wow.
And it made a difference in
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of people because they would say, I went to support group. I'm glad you went to support group.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, but I talked about this and they said their nurse doesn't do this. I said, they should. They should. I'm like, again, there's free tests out here. I had one lady who was telling me she had tested done at another hospital, and they told her she owed $14,000. She said, "I don't even make $14,000 a year."
Woo.
I said, "This is what we're gonna do."
My
What was the
goodness.
company? I called the company myself. I let them know, gave them the whole rundown. Hey, she doesn't make that much. She's on a fixed income. She's on Social Security. She's older. What
Yeah.
happened? They messed up on her insurance, so I
Uh-huh.
sent them the insurance. I faxed that over. They said, okay, so now they knocked it down to 4,000. I said, she cannot afford 4,000. Oh, we have a compassionate fund. I know you have a compassionate fund. I've used it
Yeah.
already. So how about someone email me that form? I'm gonna fill it out, sign it. We're gonna put down what her income is, and you know how much she owed at the end of that?
Please. What's you owe?
$12.
Ooh, man, I can bless her with that.
$12. And I said, can
So
you
the
afford
money's out there
$12?
to help
The
people.
money is. Oh, they have to. Come on.
But what happens to now? That was one example there, but there's hundreds and thousands that don't have that liaison, that go between.
That's the issue. So here is they got to find people like myself. We have to also empower the nurses to not be so afraid
Yes,
to
sir.
talk to that attending, that oncologist, to say, This patient's complaining about a bill that they received because you did genetic testing, which is important that they got.
Yes.
How can we fix this? There's education needs to happen on multiple levels with the oncologists, because some oncologists, they're in the community, they don't have time to figure this out. Okay, make time to figure this out because your patients need it. You can't have someone afraid to even show up to their chemotherapy appointment because they believe they owe $14,000 to a company. That's scary.
Listen. I know what you're talking about. Wow, I got some. We're gonna take a quick 3 minutes. You guys that are watching, I see a few of you that are live. I'm trying to. If you see me look away, I'm trying to toggle between looking at the comments or anything. But also, those of you that are on, you can also call in. Some of you guys have my. I'll put the number up there: 617-699-1081. Again, 617-699-1081. If you want to call in and ask my brother Peter a question, please feel free to do so. Pete, if you're not in a rush, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute little commercial break.
That's okay.
Right here, and we're going to come back, and I want us to talk about early detection. What can we do as a black community? And what is your advice to the black community? And I can share a little bit more of my story, and again, we'll talk about that. All right, we'll be right back, you guys. Put something in the comment. Thank you.
Yes. See you guys.
Welcome, everybody, to our friends and colleagues out there, professionals, vacationers. We just want to welcome you to explore and use our services, which is none other than New England Premium Transportation, and where we provide a host of services and transportations, family getaways, businesses, vacations, and much, much more. We offer transportations from all the way from Maine to Florida. We're almost to the Mississippi, but not quite yet. But we can take you almost anywhere, so please call us today. There's the phone number, there's a website, there is a QR code that you see right there before you, and scrolling at the bottom, as we say, it's New England Premium Transportation, providing excellent transportation services. We have some qualified professionals all the way from school bus drivers, vans, medical, work, you name it, we'll provide it for you. Private, from the comfort of your own home to your own destination. So please check us out. More information is here. You can visit us at www.nept1st.com. That is www.neptfirst.com. Look forward to serving you in the New England area. Thank you. All right, we are back. All right, welcome back, my brother. Thank you for coming back. And guys, thank you all for tuning in on tonight. I don't know why I can't see my comment section over here, but it's all good. And as I said before, you guys can call in if you want, if you have any questions. My friend, Brother Peter, so tell us about, I do want to talk before we went on break, I want to talk about the early detection and everything, but
absolutely.
Actually, you know what? I was going to talk about your partnership with IG Strategy Partners, but we can talk about that towards a close. But talk about the importance of early detection. What would be your educating or driving force in the black and brown community?
Early detection allows for early action, early intervention, and a lot higher rates of survivorship in
Wow.
the cancer space.
Wow.
You want to survive, you want to make sure that you are on top of these screenings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with these screenings, this could be, we'll use colorectal cancer, for example, colon cancer.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many tests out there, and there's organizations that provide you with free home tests. Find them, utilize them. You can do you can collect the sample at home. You
Mm.
can do the test at home, and you will get to know, do you have a positive or a negative result.
Wow.
That's early detection. And if you have a positive result, some people will say, hey, sometimes they're false positives. Okay, you got a false positive, but you were able to follow up with a primary care. They got you to a
Yes,
GI
sir.
specialist, and finally, we can get your stomach issues under control
Mm.
and addressed.
Wow.
Because all too often, you have people that wait these extended periods of time,
Yes, sir.
and then it's actually something bad. And then you show up to the hospital, and now we're doing everything to save you and get you, give you all this chemotherapy. All of this could have been addressed early when you could have just had surgery.
Wow.
And I don't like to always be, the what if, the what if. I don't like to play the what if game, but
Mm-hmm.
I've had some really, really sad patient stories where, you know, the the mom worked 3 jobs, could not find time to do her colonoscopy that she absolutely needed to get done because she had 4 people in her family that had colon cancer. She pushed it off, pushed it off, pushed it off. She's 56. She was 56 or 57 at the time when she finally got it. She has a massive tumor, and we're like, you might live 2 years. That's devastating
Wow.
news to tell someone, knowing that she should have had it at the age of 45
Wow.
because she has such a strong family history. You better press that gastroenterologist to get it. I've had 4 people in my family that had colorectal cancer, colon cancer. I better get one early. We're
Yes.
not waiting on this. Why? There's a
Yes.
strong genetic link there.
Yes.
That's scary. So she waited. She ended up eventually passing away, sadly.
Oh,
But I'm like, if you even had it at 50,
okay.
we could have caught it, and your quality of life would have been better.
Okay. Wow.
Because when we caught it, it was stage 4.
Mm.
And the icing on the cake, which sadly, the top of it all, the highlighting factor was she was a doctor.
What? So you know better.
Because she knew better, but she was working 3 jobs. She was trying to handle all of her family stuff. Her family gained a bunch of debt, so she was trying to pay that off. She had another main job that she had. She was busy. So it's not always about income. It's about making sure that you're available to do the right things, like your screenings,
Yes, sir.
talking to your primary care, having a primary care. You gotta have a
That's
primary
what I
care.
want to talk to. Though, how important it is to have a primary care, not a clinic, not a neighborhood health, but how important?
You absolutely need a primary care because your primary care is your access point, especially if you're low income. Your insurance says you have to have one.
Mm.
Go into the emergency room. This is where we're going to
Yeah.
back this up too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just because if I have a problem, I go to the emergency room.
Come
That's a
on.
problem. Why is it a problem though? Well, they take care of it right away. They don't. Because in the emergency room, they have 2 goals. No matter how they flip it inside out, throw it on its head or whatever, their 2 goals is this. Either you're going to go home or you're going to get admitted to the hospital.
Wow.
That's
In
it.
the ER. In the ER.
In the ER. So, and then they prioritize what is the highest, they prioritize what is your highest need, not you
What?
prioritizing what's your highest need. So you come in with back pain. Okay, how long you had this back pain for? As we all do. Oh, I've been
Okay.
having it for 2 years. So now this is the first time you decided to come in for this back pain?
Uh
It's
huh.
gotten kind of worse. Okay, we only going to address your back pain, but you have stomach issues. Sometimes you have numbness in your left arm whenever you moving stuff around in your house or cleaning your house. This is really complex. The emergency room is not here to address that. They will not address all of it.
Wow.
That's why you have a primary care, because your primary care is going to connect you to, okay, the neurologist for the numbness. Your primary care is going to connect you to the lumbar specialist because they did a scan and they realized that you have a bulging disc. They're going to
My
send you
God.
to another neurosurgeon. Your primary care is like the quarterback,
That, I was just going to
but
say
that's why
that's
you
quarterback.
also need
Yep.
to the quarterback of your care. But you also need to make sure not only you pick a good primary care, there's a lot of times you can shape and mold a primary care into a good one. I
Wow.
know it's additional work for us, especially all the weight of being black and everything else happening in our lives. But when you know the roles, duties, and responsibilities of someone, you can make them as good as you want them to be.
Wow.
Because the last thing they want to do is be dragged into court because they did medical malpractice.
Look at that.
No
Look at
one's
that.
saying, again, jump right to suing anybody.
Yeah.
But if you know what their roles, duties, and responsibilities are,
You'll
there's a
keep
way
it
to
straight.
communicate this to them
Mm-hmm.
to keep them on a straight path. You already know. That's how
You'll
you set
keep it straight.
expectations.
You keep it straight. Just to share a little bit of, and you can just tell me and kind of coach me along this. My own experience. I had a primary care doctor. Always had one. Um, but it went in for a normal routine physical in December of just before we went on a cruise. I think it was December of 23, and then February of 24. He said your PSA levels are high. So the
Yep.
primary care doctor did that. Take another blood test just to reach it. So instead of being the normal, I believe
Recheck
between
it.
0 and 4, is at like 13, 14. It was up there.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah, it
whoa,
was up
whoa.
there. And like you said, he connected it. Boom, I'm gonna put you over here. Did a couple of biopsies, met a team, and lo and behold, October. They said it was a slow moving. They found like 2 spots. He said it was borderline. They could have left it, but now that we know it's there, we're gonna do something. And I had 4 or 5 different options, and the best one that I chose was the cyber knife
Yes.
treatment, the cyber knife, and
Radiation.
no, yeah, radiation, no, nothing abrasive, no cutting anything, and I tell you, it worked. But you said something key. The primary care doctor. I mean, one time me and my wife went in. He said, "This is your medical team." It was like 7 or 8 of them. This one's in charge of that one. This one's in charge of this one, and it kind of made me feel comfortable going through the process. You know what I mean? So I can only
Yes.
imagine on the flip side, a person not having a primary care, not having a team, not having a voice.
You're
Like
lost.
you're lost. You are lost. So I
You're
think it's
lost.
real important. So getting to that early detection again, how important? How much would you drive and just tell black people you have to get tested or go to your physical? So
You
I know a lot of black men and women that have died, whether in my church and in my family, just haven't been a doctor in 15 years, other than the ER.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what's your comments on that?
I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. And I don't like to my thing is there's enough scary things out in this world, especially for us being black. I don't want to add to it, but again, just like how Martin Luther King said, the worst inequality of them all is health.
Wow.
And I've had patients that said, oh, I ain't been to the doctor since every time I go to the doctor, they say something's wrong with me. Well, yeah, because the last time you went to a doctor, you were 19 and you're 43 now.
Ooh.
I've been healthy all this time. And you're telling me now I
Mm-mm.
got high blood pressure, I got
Mm-mm.
this going on, I got heart failure. I'm 43. How do I have heart failure? Well, because your high blood pressure has been uncontrolled for, excuse me, been unaddressed and uncontrolled for over 20 years. That wears you down.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, he's like, and now they're telling me I got to go see a cancer doctor. I said, well, yeah, you do, because not only do you have all these other issues, but you also have cancer.
Whew.
And it's because you went all these years without seeing a doctor. There's early detection allows us to catch it early, treat it early, so you don't have this problem.
My
When we
God.
start getting into these, high grade stage threes, stage four, it gets tricky. There's
Okay.
treatment options now, thank God,
Okay.
but they're really aggressive.
Okay.
And you know that you can't work a lot of times,
Mm.
so you got to go on Social Security or disability.
Mm.
There's other factors that play into now. Yes, you do want to live, but you're going to have a hard time trying to get it to the end. If you don't have a lot of support, you haven't
Yes.
saved up a lot of money, you might be in for a rough road. And that
Wow.
is an added factor and added stress in your cancer journey, which is not fair to you.
Come on. Come on.
So early action, early interventions, making sure that you have that early detection gives us that time. And having a strong primary care too,
Yes,
they
sir.
can start the footwork on some of these, some of your cancer journey. If you are diagnosed with whatever cancer,
You sure
there's
can.
certain tests that they can do so you can establish a baseline early.
Sure can.
Because you might say, hey, I want to see this oncologist only because I heard they're fantastic. I talked to my family
Absolutely.
about it. You know how us black people are. I spoke to my pastor. My pastor said he recommends him.
Ah,
So you go that route. But it
that's
takes
right.
you 2 months to go see him.
And you know, my
How do we
primary.
know how bad it was before?
That's right.
We don't.
And it's funny you said that. My primary care doctor, the first thing he said, don't worry. He said, I have one of the best at this. Speaking of that specific disease or that specialty, and lo and behold, when I went through the cyber knife, I actually Googled I Google the doctors now. I Google them, looked them
As you
up,
should.
and man, it's like top doctor in New England with it. When they implemented the program, he has a success rate of 96%. People that go through it that are referred to it. But again, it starts with the early detection. Can you explain, and I hear it so much, the only number that we as black people know is stage 4. Can you explain the stages of cancer?
Yes.
Please explain it.
So it truly depends on what type of cancer it is. But stage one typically is usually controlled within that organ.
Okay.
So it's within that organ. It's some activity, but it's within that organ. Then there's different stages as you move on. Stage two could be it has grown and now it has started to invade a little bit into the surrounding area
Mm.
of, we'll use the colon for example, right? Stage one, you have a polyp, which is now a tumor, and now it's only in your colon. Stage two, you got a couple lymph nodes involved around it. There's some communication. This tumor's growing. Size too matters. The size of it's grown, but also it's starting to invade a little more of that stomach line, the colon lining.
Colon. Yes.
As you start to get further into stage two, it goes a little deeper into that colon lining. Now
Jeez.
and then you hit stage three. Not only is there veins, but it's pumping it nutrients
Mm.
that should be going elsewhere, but instead it's going there because it's been able to lower the surveillance in your blood. It lowers it down in a way that makes your white blood cells that usually would identify it as that's wrong, that's not supposed to be going on, we got to attack this. It makes them say, you know what, we'll keep our hands off, it's just doing its own thing. So
Wow.
now you have not only you have strong blood flow, but you have a lot of lymph node involvement now. So now your lymphatic system's involved in here. It's draining, but it's spreading.
God.
Stage three could mean now it could also be into the muscle. It can start to go back down to the stomach wall. And then stage four, it's the primary site, which is your colon, but it's moved to your liver, it's moved to your lung, it's moved to your brain. It's went to a whole nother group, another location.
Wow.
For us black people, that's why early detection is important. Because stage one, surgery.
That's it.
Stage two, surgery.
Yes, sir.
Quick surgery. Surgery takes about 3 hours. They do what they have to do, and then you don't leave with a colostomy. You're not leaving with a bag. They close you up, and you go home. You have follow-up appointments for probably the next like 3 years, and scans to make sure it's not growing again.
So
But you're good.
different now. So different. Yes.
Very different. Now you start getting to those high-grade stage twos because you have a strong family history of colorectal cancer. Okay, we might give you 3 months of chemotherapy. Check in to see. Okay, you're good. We'll take our hands off. Now you're in stage three. We can
Mm.
maybe try some surgery, but you're absolutely going to need chemotherapy. You're
Wow.
absolutely going to need chemotherapy. If you don't want chemotherapy, just know stage four is coming in about a year and a half.
Wow.
Because the surgery option is not going to help you if you have stage three, which a lot of surgeons is not even going to touch you until you say
I
yes to the
heard that.
chemotherapy.
I heard that. I
Yeah,
heard
because
that.
it can affect their success rates, but also it's showing that it's not that you're resistant to the medication. It's that you have not been educated enough to make an
Yes.
informed decision. So they may hold off and say, let's make sure that you can make the most informed decision.
Wow.
Hopefully that's how the team is thinking compared to the other part,
Wow.
the other side of it. But stage four is chemotherapy. If you're lucky, we can get you to surgery.
Okay.
More chemotherapy afterwards.
Okay.
And it's chemotherapy until we can kind of rein in, control the disease enough until we can say, okay, we can give you a break. And then it's surveillance from there on. But
Wow.
that tells you, like, again, there's different stages because it depends on how big the tumor is, how
Yes.
invasive the tumor has become, what involvement, lymph node involvement at all, is there, and are there, this thing called angiogenesis, creation of new veins to start bringing in more nutrients,
That's
which
crazy.
cancer will do if
Yes.
you allow it to continue to grow.
Wow. Oh, so that was I know one thing that my doctor, not that they were concerned, they said, well, they know which way they wanted to go, but they did one more scan, and they kept saying the lymph nodes. They said it did not go in the lymph nodes. They said
Good.
we can definitely do this, and from that point on, they were pretty confident with it. Yeah, they're pretty confident.
Absolutely. And I will always say this too. If you're a patient on the side of things and they're questioning, we don't know, you can ask for another scan. Give me another scan.
Mm.
You know why? Because I need to know, especially as a black person, I need to know that when you cut me open, you know exactly where you're going. We
Yes,
don't
sir.
need to be losing anything unnecessarily.
That's right.
I need you to cut this cancer out, cut it out. And
That's
I
right.
need you to make sure that you have the right images, the images are up to date, and you know where you're going and how you're going to go about it. But that's how we include the
This
patient
is
in there.
good.
This is how we also give power back to our patients too, because we're
Yes, sir.
so used to, especially as black people, other people just telling you what to do, and you're like, well, I guess I'll just figure it out. I'll do it later, or I'll just do what they say. Come on, to our knowledge, we only have this one life,
Yes, sir.
so we got to make sure we treat this body good, but also when things happen, we're able to make an informed decision about how we want to proceed forward.
Wow. Wow.
And now, in this day and age, we have people that are willing to educate people, provide you with the evidence, provide you with real stories, not any made up stories that they, put together and things don't make sense at all. Real stories of patients that's already went through this. Why reinvent the wheel? Someone else has already went through a really rough path. I can give you an off ramp so that hopefully you can have an additional 2 or 3 more years with your family,
Come on.
if not more. As new medications are being created and are being
Yes, sir.
found and are being studied, we got more options now than we probably ever had.
Sure do.
But how do I make sure that our community has this information so they
Yes.
can make an informed decision? I had a patient a while ago where she was like 87, and she was like, "Oh, they found I have breast cancer." I said, "You're 87 years old, and it's stage one.
Uh-huh.
I think you should probably continue living your life." And she was like, "Oh, because I was told if you have breast cancer, you die. Black people, you get breast cancer, you die right away." I said, "You are 87 years old. I don't think you want to go through a treatment. You've lived a long
Wow.
life, but I want you to live quality life too."
Quality of life. Right. Right.
And she was like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." Okay. The doctor came in. I was covering a different clinic too. I spoke to her. We all spoke. She was like, "Oh, yeah, I was going to tell her the same thing." I said, "Good." But I'm glad that we had this conversation because that made her feel a lot more comfortable too. Of, oh, you going to step up for me? I don't know her from nowhere, but
Come
you
on.
are an elder.
That's
We
it.
need to be in front of some of this stuff too to make sure we protect them. Because when you lose an elder, you know you lose a library.
Absolutely.
So we got to also be
I like
mindful
that.
of that.
I
But
like that.
when I started to advocate for her, I didn't know her. I was just covering that clinic, but I knew when she said when black women get breast cancer, we die. I said, well, you are you are 87, but um,
Wow.
let me walk you through what goes on for real.
Wow. Wow.
And that was eye opening. Now, on the other side of things, I had younger people come in too, like a lot of younger women too, that would come in with breast cancer, and they were like, "Well, all I know is that my aunt had breast cancer and she died, and my other aunt had breast cancer and she died." And sometimes you have to sit with them and really explain to them important things like, "You're at academic center. We're going to make sure you have genetic testing so that
Yes.
we can find the right treatment for you. But you need a strong nurse navigator and a really intelligent oncologist to say, yes, we're going to make sure we do these things.
Mm.
We're going to cover all of our bases because someone loves you somewhere. And if
My
I
God.
don't provide this love right here while you're in my care,
Yes, sir.
I'm not doing my job."
Yes, sir. Wow. You said something so key. My mom, she passed. Um,
Sorry
she
to
had
hear that.
full-blown breast cancer. Her breast was just hard as a rock, but she was from Mississippi, born from the 30s and 40s. Didn't trust doctors, and you know how the story goes. And
Yeah.
I wonder if that thing showed up five. We don't know because she was real private with her health. But I knew it was something that she could have beat. But I think by us just being and we have a reason for the distrust.
Naturally
Distrust.
so.
Yeah, we generally
Yes.
do. But I think just the education on it. So let me ask you this: do you play like a advocate role or spokesman? What are some things that you offer in a black community, or because I'm hearing you right now, I would love you to come by and be in person. What do you offer?
Yes.
What do you do to educate us in healthcare?
So what I do in healthcare to educate people is I have workshops, educational sessions. I find any way possible that I can meet someone and start to talk to you about this. I prefer it in a larger crowd, but if it's like, some people are private with their health. So you show up at an event, they want to schedule some one-on-one time. Hey, I need this. I do not give medical advice. I like to let that
There
let
you
that be
go.
known.
Let's make that clear, you all. Yep. Yep.
I help you learn how to navigate this system.
Mm.
The system was not created for us. But we can't just throw it away right now.
Jeez.
We throw it away, now what? Now what? What do we do?
You
We
need
just
the
all die?
system.
No.
Yeah, you
We
need it.
need the system.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
you need to know how to navigate the system, especially in healthcare, especially you black. It's like they push you in a dark room. They never had the lights on. They push you in a room and said, find the key. The key, there's booby traps everywhere. You don't know where you're going. They tell you, they have doctors with crazy
It's
names and the
intimidating. It's
department's crazy.
intimidating.
It's
Yeah.
it's discouraging. It makes you say, you know what, I'm not going there no more. And then, unfortunately, the person who designed the system won.
Wow.
And I don't like to see it as the focus, but we always have to acknowledge the history.
Yes. Yes.
And the history of it was most of modern medicine was founded on three slaves that were tested on by a doctor, a so-called doctor that came up with everything.
That's true. Guinea
So they
pigs.
made it easier for others
That's
and
right.
not us.
That's right.
So that being said, we have to know how to navigate this system, how to advocate appropriately, efficiently, how to communicate
Yes, sir.
effectively to your medical team. I always say, especially when it's things like we were at the sickle cell event. What I tell
Yes.
anyone at the sickle cell warrior, these are real issues they deal with. They're used to being mistreated by the doctor's office. However, learn a little bit of nursing knowledge.
Come on.
Why? Because all of a sudden everyone's ears perk up. Oh, do you have a nurse in your family?
Mm.
Oh, what happened? You was just telling me that I seen drug seeking, that I was here for because I told you what my care plan is and that what works for me because I'm in a pain crisis. You didn't value or see me as a person. You just saw me as someone who's addicted to drugs.
Wow.
Instead of I'm in a pain crisis and I need this so I can actually be able to communicate with you to let you know the rest of the things I have going on in my life that
Yes,
needs to
sir.
be addressed. So typically what I tell a lot of my sickle cell warriors is you learn a little bit of nursing language.
Mm.
Why? Everyone's ears perk up. All of a sudden, they're worried. Sometimes you got to make some people a little worried about things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they got to really remember that their job is on the line. You showed up, as I said before, you walked through these doors to provide care. And right here, right now, you are not providing loving care to someone in need.
Wow.
You're not doing your job.
Come on.
So, learn a little bit of nursing knowledge. Utilize your patient portal, which is your messaging, your my chart.
Yes.
That's a part
Yes.
of
We
your
got that
legal
now.
medical record.
Yeah, we got that now. I'll
That's a
use it.
part of your legal medical record. And the best way to use it is anytime you send a message to your doctor and you want to understand a detailed plan, you end the message with what do you recommend? Because now this has went from a update
Mm.
to a request for information.
And
And it
direction.
starts to hold your providers and direction. And it starts to hold your providers accountable for making sure that they are giving you evidence-based practice,
Wow.
evidence-based solutions, not something that they told you to go find on your own.
Yes, sir.
This is how we hold our medical professionals accountable. This is how we add more value to our life by holding them accountable, raising that standard and the expectation of you went to school for 8 years to get your MD. You studied under someone else and you did additional 4 years to get your specialty. There's no way that you're going to respond back to me as, what did you try?
Right.
The patients do have a responsibility in their care, but when they're seeking information and guidance, you better come right with the right information for them. Because
That's good stuff.
ultimately, again, as I said, someone loves you somewhere. And if I'm not operating in that love, I'm not doing my job right.
Wow.
My job first is to do no harm, and by doing no harm, I should be showing up, listening to your case, reviewing your case, and making sure I give you the appropriate recommendation. Not turning it to you and making sure that you have to come up with a whole new set of things. And then when things don't work, I say, oh, why did you do that?
Mm.
Because you didn't give me the guidance I need.
Wow. We need this. Yes, we need this. Wow, this
And
is
I like to
awesome.
also add in one last piece, especially
Sure.
about guidance,
Yes.
is that, especially in the black community, all too often people are looking at us like, oh, we're looking for a handout. We're not looking for a handout. We need help. But the help we need is, again, not a handout. We need guidance. And we
Right.
need proven
Big
guidance.
difference.
I need to know that you're walking with me in this journey. Not just telling me you go down the road, take a left, take a right, and you should find this doctor. No, you right next to me. I got a good primary care letting me know, oh, you're having stomach issues. Talk to this GI specialist.
Wow.
This GI specialist, when you're talking to him, okay, clearly you value me as a person. Let's make sure that you're walking with me also in this journey to make sure that I can have quality of life, that I'm not living in the bathroom 10 times a day.
Come on. Come
Same
on.
thing with your primary care. Oh, no one should be having a cough for 5 years.
Mm.
But if you have a strong primary care with you, walking with you in that journey, we need to do a low density CT scan, chest CT scan. Why are you doing that for? Because we need to make sure we check off all the boxes, make sure you don't have lung cancer or any lung damage from the fact you smoke cigarettes for a long time.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, these are the explanations. These are the walking with me in this care journey.
Yes, sir.
You're walking with me. You're not just giving me some aimless directions that I can get lost. Or
Wow.
when your doctor says, I'm going to put a referral in and really puts a referral in
That's
and
right.
sends you to that specialist. They're your primary care. They're your quarterback, 100%. But they should not be the ones managing all your kidney issues.
Wow.
They, at a certain point, they need to start sending you to a kidney specialist.
Come on.
There's someone that went to school for an extended period of time that's learned these new things, these new techniques, has access to a whole new wide array of different tests that should be covered by your insurance. And if it's not, again, some of these companies have compassionate funds that are more than willing to pay for it if you are low income. These are the information that we need to know so we can be successful in
Yes.
this care journey, or in other cases, our cure journey.
Wow.
Walk with me so we can make it there.
I like it. I like it.
Go. It's not about also too about going the extra mile. It's going the last mile.
Yes,
Get
sir.
me over the finish line first,
Yes, sir.
because a lot of us black people ain't even made it near the finish line.
Come on.
We
Wow.
think we got there, but we look at our white counterparts, our Asian counterparts, other
Light
ethnic groups,
years.
and we
Light
say
years.
way ahead,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
way ahead.
Yes, sir.
So get me to the finish line. Then we can worry about the rest. But get me to the finish
Yes,
line.
sir.
That's going the last mile. The extra
Yes.
mile's nice. I need you to give me what everyone else is getting. That's the expectation I'm trying to set.
So on tonight, Peter, is it safe to say, or you can comment on this, that no matter what your financial status is, um, or level in society is as a black and brown person, there is care that is afforded to you if
Yes,
you seek it.
absolutely. And if not, you keep looking. And if you're having a hard time, you talk to your primary care. Oh, I don't feel like they treated me well. Have real information when you go talk to your primary care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fill out those patient surveys.
Talk about that. You mentioned that before. Talk about that.
Yes. So this is important. Filling out those patient surveys. They send them to your house. When you leave the hospital, they may give you one. Often what we say is, it was nice when I was there. That's whatever. That is how the hospital gets paid. And if you're constantly seeing that these providers are not treating you the way that you deserve, because in healthcare, you deserve a certain level of care.
Yes, sir.
If they're not treating you the way that you deserve, put that on your patient survey. Your patient survey tells your they have to report this to the agency called CMS, the Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services. Regardless of what insurance you have, it goes to this department. They're a federal agency here in the
Wow.
U.S.
Okay.
Those reports from those surveys has to be sent to them.
Wow.
You may say, well, I'm only one person. But through these discussions, being on podcasts like with you, Pastor Mike,
Yes,
or
sir.
talking to other people, raising that level of awareness, oh, you know what, we might actually need to fill out these surveys. Put in their details. You know why? Because this ties to their reimbursement rates, how much the insurance is willing to pay them for the services that they provided to
Come
you.
on here.
This ties into what services they're willing to provide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How many times you go to the hospital and they say, oh, we barely got a social worker. Put that in your patient survey. We having issues. We need a social worker.
That's right.
That will drive them to go high. They will find the money to go hire someone for that. That is how
Wow.
you put their feet to the fire, because they have to then report that to this federal agency, is where they get the
Federal.
majority of their funding from. A
Yep.
federal agency where they get the majority of their funding from. And if they constantly have, this place is requesting 40% of their yearly budget, but hundreds of their patients are saying they don't have a social worker. Yeah, we're not paying you 94% of the money that you're owed.
Wow. Just
You're
like
not
that.
getting one
Take your
second,
time.
guys. Here we go. I'm back. Sorry.
It's all right.
You paid. They're not getting paid the 94%. They're being dropped down to now 70. Now they got to figure out where the heck this money's coming from. So they're going to start implementing new programs, new initiatives, new services to make sure that they bring that patient satisfaction back up. Because we live in America and we passed this years ago. I wish that this got way more attention than it should have. We no longer are a volume-based service. We're value-based in healthcare. So if you are not delivering high-quality healthcare to the people you service, and that's documented in those patient surveys,
Yes, sir.
this all ties back to the money that they make.
Right.
And that starts to drop down. So this is a tool that we have that is an empowerment tool. No one's saying use it maliciously, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna tear this place to shreds from this." No, use it as a tool to empower us, so that you know if a doctor's not treating you well, put it in your patient survey. Oh, I spoke with this doctor. They only saw me for 10 minutes. They made me feel like I was just a number. They truly did make you feel like that. Put it in there. There's always a spot for additional comments. Put it in there. It's not about getting your doctor in trouble, but it's more about how to make sure that that doctor can value you.
Yes.
Because again, this is about the value of healthcare that's being delivered to you is not high quality right now. The doctor only saw you for 10 minutes, is telling you look fine, but yet you're complaining about back pain. You're saying that you have irregular periods and you're having a lot of issues with moving your bowels, and you may have an issue with your legs going numb occasionally. They didn't address any of this. No, this is how we fix this problem right away.
Right.
And these are ways, again, that, and typically when you send in a survey, they see it as somewhere depending on each location. Some places will say 10, some places will say 15, other places say 20, but it ranges from 10 to 20 responses. They check it because they know a lot of people aren't going to do it. So if you receive a return rate of about, let's say all of a sudden they send out 100 and they get 30 responses back, they're doing really good. They're happy with 30%.
Wow.
How about we up that to 70 and we give them the truth about what's going on?
Come on.
It won't be overnight, but it's going to be pretty fast. In a few weeks, you'll start to see black billboards with black faces on it.
That's right.
Letting you know you're welcome here. You're going to see, there's definitely going to be some new sensitivity training for a couple doctors that choose to treat you not like you are a human. If they want to keep their job, they're going to go through some sensitivity training because enough people complained about this. And that is the most efficient way to submit a complaint is on your patient survey, because they got to address it. Because if you write a letter to a hospital, that can get lost in the internal mail system.
Absolutely.
It's going to end up on someone's desk, and it's going to end up in the shredder.
Absolutely.
So unless you know how to navigate that system really well, and you're addressing it to a very specific person in like quality or safety, then you might get a response. But if you send it to your doctor's office, things like that, it's gonna get lost in the system.
Yeah.
It's
Just do
meant
it
that
digital.
way,
Just
unfortunately.
just do it digital.
But if you do those patient surveys and you put in what really happened to you, you talk about your experience, a lot of hospitals have whole teams called patient's experience. Put
Wow.
in our black experience.
Wow.
Put
This
in
is
there
awesome.
what happened. Oh, I only had one. I only saw my nurse multiple nights that I was in that hospital. I know there was supposed to be a CNA. That's how you fix a staffing issue. Oh, they took a long time to give me my pain medication. They can always go back into your chart and see when you requested and when they gave it to you. All these are
Hmm.
analytics that are found,
Hmm.
but that starts to bring to the surface the issue. Oh, they have a terrible staffing issue. The hospital will find the money to fund to get the new nurses to get nurses on that floor if
Right.
enough patients complain about it
Right.
in the right way. If you
The
talk it
right
out
way.
loud and spit it to the ether in the universe,
Yeah.
maybe you might get something back.
Right.
But you put it down on that paper in that patient survey, oh, you about to
Yes.
see a change within a month. You're
Wow.
gonna see a change.
This is
I've
something.
seen it. I've seen it. When I worked on the cancer floor, we didn't have strong staffing. I started telling patients, I'm only one person. I can't be in 4 rooms at one time. I'm here to help you right now. I started implementing this. Hey, put in your patient survey. You come in here all the time
Mm.
because you have to get your treatment. Put in your patient survey. Put in your patient survey. Put in your patient survey. Within a month, we had 5 new employees on that floor
Wow.
because patients were able to complain about it in a way that was effective.
Effective.
That's
Yeah.
how you know.
Effective and
That's how you
professional.
learn the system and know how to navigate it. And
Oof, I love
professional.
this. I love this. Man, you don't know how this is a dream sent. My precious daughter, she's working in the medical field with the VA, the Veterans Hospitals, and I told her after my experience, I said, I want somebody just to come on and just talk about black health. And listen, you've been a godsend. We're not, this is not a one off, but I want us to
No,
maybe
we
come
we
back next
back.
time. Yeah, we back. We back. I want us
We
to come
back.
back and next time we get this word out there really clear, and we're gonna have just straight up call-ins. Call-ins, have people call in on the
Absolutely.
broadcast and share this. So you guys, we thank you guys for those of you that came on just to watch us. But lastly, on the way out the door, tell us about IG. Was it I3
I
Partners?
cubed.
I
I3 strategy partners. So I'm a regional director of outreach, and a lot of what we do is addressing health. So we have two parts of the business. We have our pharmaceutical consulting pieces, which a lot of it is educating pharmaceutical companies on how to engage with us as black people. All too often, they parachute in, parachute out, don't know what to do. They come up with a whole new plan that's not relevant to who we are as black people. Those days are long done.
come on.
So with us, a lot of pharmaceutical companies partner with us. We do some consulting work with them, so that they can learn how to talk effectively with black communities, black and brown
Yes.
communities. Because all too often, they come up with some nonsense on their own,
Mm,
and then we miss out on the fact that there's medication that could actually help us,
come
and
on.
there's money that they can invest in our community. We miss out on that because they want to go and do their own show. They work with us. We do the groundwork. We understand what goes on. We give them valuable insights so that when they are ready to actually start the engagement, the community is ready to even speak to them. So they're not coming in cold. They're getting a warm welcome. I've
Yes,
been
sir.
expecting to speak to you about X and Y disease. And I'm glad that you're interested in coming to our city to do this work.
Look at that.
That's what we do.
That's
And
good.
then we talk about also health equity, which is we do the work. Obviously, we do a lot of work for pharma, but in the health equity space, we make sure that they come correct when they're ready to come talk to black people.
That's good.
This is not the, hey buddy, how you doing? No, no, no. It's, hey Mr. Mike, it's a pleasure meeting with you. I'm glad that we made our acquaintance. Can we talk about X, Y, and Z?
Mm,
They learn how to come with respect to us. We are not just only the dollars that we have in our savings account. At the end of the day, we're also human beings,
come
but
on.
we have a unique culture that comes with a certain level of respect. That if you want our participation, you want our engagement, you want our money, our insurance money, you
That's right.
better come right.
That's right.
So what in that is how we then further that notion of now not only are you, this one team is going to learn how to talk to black people, we're going to need your whole organization to learn how to talk to black people.
Yes,
So that
sir.
when you show up places, You may not be of color. You know what your role is. If you're advocacy, you're going to advocate for us. You're not going to talk for us. You're going to talk with us.
That's right.
Two different
Big
things.
difference. Yep.
Big difference.
That's
Also
right.
is making sure that you want to hold an event. Is your event reasonable for the targeted audience?
Right.
Is it going to be someplace far off that the bus can't get to, the train can't get to, and you expect everyone to have a car and everything else? And oh, it's $50 at the door. We ain't showing up. There's no way. Unless
Wow.
you giving us $1,000, we ain't showing up. Come on. You giving out a prize to everyone comes to $50. I'm gonna give you. All right, cool.
Oh
But
my
these are the things that
goodness.
really do matter,
No
though, when it
gimmicks.
comes
No
to.
gimmicks, man.
Yeah, we're not here
Yeah.
for none of
Yeah.
that madness.
Yeah. We
But
ain't here
here,
for that.
we what we try to instill in a lot of these companies is how to appropriately engage with communities of color so that we not only feel
I
respected,
like
but
it.
we are involved in it.
I like it, man.
Because long gone are these days of, oh, I researched online how to talk to black people. Hey, brother, what's going on? No. And I've seen it. And I'm like, I don't know where you listen to a bunch of rap videos and you think you're going to talk to an elder like that. You're out of your mind.
Come on, man. Come on.
But this is how we need to, educate other people how to engage with us appropriately.
Wow. I love
And
it,
also
man.
how to instill the right education in us so we know when we turn around and go to the healthcare center, we know what medication to request for or what treatment, what the expectation, as I spoke about before, is having those expectations of you need to treat me well,
Hmm.
but also understanding what's to come. Because the fear of the unknown, especially in the black community
Mm.
and the brown community, it will stop us from doing anything. Because we've been burned too many times, we can't get burned again.
Come on.
Most of us is on our last leg mentally. We're like, I,
Yeah.
I can't, I
Yeah.
can't deal I can't deal with another loss.
Yeah.
So that's the level of guidance as I spoke about previously. Is
Yes, sir.
I'm we try to make sure that these companies, that these hospitals can walk you through the process. You're going to meet with this doctor. Okay,
Mm.
this doctor's whole role is radiation. Now you're going to meet with the oncologist. They're
That's
going to
true.
talk about surgery and chemotherapy.
Yes, sir.
They're going to make sure that they try to get you through as much of this as possible. They're going to work with your insurance. They're going to make sure that if you need a prior authorization, they're going to take care. That is the level of clarity and guidance we need to know up front.
That
So I
feels
know
good.
that I don't have to call my niece or my nephew to be like, can you call this insurance and figure out what the heck I can't get my medicine? No. Your doctor's office is supposed to be doing
They
that.
do
That's
it.
that clarity on the
And I'm a
roles, duties, and
witness.
responsibilities.
I'm a witness. They can do it. They can do it.
They can.
Yeah,
I
they can
was
do it.
doing it.
Yeah.
When I was working there, I was doing it.
That's right.
And it wasn't just because out of the kindness of my heart. It was one through me showing love that I'm going to do my job,
That's
but
right.
also two, this is a part of my job.
Yes.
Why am I
Care.
not? Why
Care.
am I
Health
selling
care. Health
care?
care.
Health care. Say it again.
Health
Health
care.
care.
Care. Not health hustle.
Yeah.
Health care.
There's money involved, but at the end of the day, there's people you're serving.
That's right. That's your
If
job.
things go wrong, someone dies.
Mm. You're playing with
You can't
lives.
pull that back.
Yep. You're playing with lives.
So you need to come correct. You need to come at your best.
That's good. That's good. Wow. This is good.
So that's a lot of what we do. And then I do
Yeah.
educational sessions. I make sure I do a lot of community awareness, disease awareness to make sure that our community members are educated enough to feel that they can have discussions with their providers about their disease and not feel less than.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, you got to go home with that body. You need to know how to take care of it best.
Come on, man. Come on. Wow. Man, I'm thinking so many things. So listen, guys, we appreciate y'all. If you notice, we took the clock off the wall with Brother Peter on tonight. Because this right here takes precedent in everything. And I'm so honored, my friend and my brother. We are gonna be connected. We
Thank
in this
you.
for the long haul.
Yes,
We
are.
I thank God that you were blessed to come to my school and host a sickle cell event and support us. But we want you to come speak to our black and brown students and parents. So I got a few things coming up. I know between March and May, we have a lot of mental health and wellness sessions at our school. So we'd love you to come from Brockton, speak to the young
Please.
people, speak to families. Families need to know this too. Old school parents alike. So listen, we're grateful for that. Listen, we got some more exciting guests coming this month. We have a Miss Dr. Toller. She is Aesthetic Mind MD. She is a psychologist. herself. Just started her own private practice out of Mass General. She is doing some great things. So Black and Brown, we're celebrating them. My son, Makai Gilbert, he'll be also coming with us this month. Makai has an MA in school psychology. He is going for his doctorate too. You got to meet my son, man. You guys,
we'll connect.
You guys have a lot of passion. You guys and the young black men and women like yourselves, they really have a drive to change the norm. Because too many times we're like, oh, that's just the system. That's just this. But every now and then God will put people like you in society. We have also Cassandra Prophet. She is a financial wizard, and she does a lot of financial literacy, especially for black and brown communities. And lastly, we have Miss Lana Love. She is a inspiring gospel artist, local, and she does a lot of volunteerism and great things. So we have some good people coming up. And the last thing here, and Mr. Peter, I don't know if I did, but I want to invite everybody out to the Black History Month celebration 2025, Black History Month. It's live entertainment, over 30, I believe it's 39 to be exact, 39 businesses and political guests, games, and much more. We're going to have entertainment, live music. Where is this going to take place? Right inside the supermarket. I know somebody's saying, how can this be? But yes, Shaw's Supermarket on 641 Belmont Street, Brockton, Mass. 02301. When? It's going to be on Saturday, February 22nd, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is brought to you in part by the Umbrella Project, Community Collaborate, New Heights Charter School, and Star and Shaw's Supermarket. So we're looking forward to that. Peter, man, words can't express. You really encouraged me, and you made me even so much want to share my story, but also grab somebody by the shoulder and say, listen, you got this. You can do this. And just to help somebody out. And just think about the line, and you that are watching out there, think about what Peter does. He in essence, a lot of us give people loans, we give them money, we might give them a favorite dish, but man, you're out there adding years to people's life. You're hopefully, out there getting quality of life. That's huge. That's some huge work. So you really took your career, you took your gift, and you really went to another level. And I, on behalf of all those out there, really appreciate you, man. So listen, thank God for it. Like, thank God for it. So any last words, anything before we get up out of here?
Others are not going to value us until we value our own life. This is how we bring the value back.
Yes, sir.
And this is how we raise that expectation and let them know they need to come right, because I have this one life that I value and I love. Treat me well, and God is good to us.
Wow. So on behalf of Even and Mike's Real Talk, Inspirational Television, we'll be back next week. Next week is Super Bowl Sunday. We'll probably do an earlier broadcast around 3 o'clock. We'll let you know during the week. But we're so grateful on today. So, Peter, thank you, man. Thank you for joining us. We're so excited. First real broadcast up in 2025. Looking for great things. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Take care.